had a daughter who's now 6 years old. And last year, I kept thinking about what would it be like to move to Japan? When could we do it? I was like, maybe when she's older, maybe when she's a teenager. I think I was subconsciously doing what a lot of people do, is they use their kids as an excuse to delay their own plans and goals. Because it's scary to move to a new country. And in my head, I'm having this imaginary conversation where like, oh, it would be too hard for my daughter, my wife, she just got here to Germany. I had to be real with myself and be like, dude, you have an awesome wife and daughter, and she's still young enough that if you wanted to move, yes, it would be challenging, but it would totally be possible.
Hey guys, Max here again, and today I'm interviewing parkour athlete Jason Paul.
That's me. Hi.
Jason, welcome to the Live in Tokyo podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You know, this podcast used to originally be called Live in Tokyo, and it's perfect because, hey, you live in Tokyo now. Could you quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm fresh off the boat, excited to be here, off the plane. And most people know me as a parkour athlete.
Yes.
And I started parkour when it was like this first wave of parkour popularity in Europe. I'm from Germany originally, where I saw it on TV. And originally I had no ambition to be any good at it. Mm-hmm. I was a complete video game nerd at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had like easy 6-7 hours a day after school.
Not anymore.
I wish.
Yeah.
Only 5 years to go from unfit video game nerd to being a world champion in parkour.
Well, so we're going to jump into your backstory because I think you're a very interesting person to be here, located in Tokyo now. And so I think the first question I'm even going to ask you is just, why are you in Japan? Why did you decide to move here? Because I know you have a family. You have, well, you can go into it, but I know you have a wife and a child. So a lot of the people in this office too were like, yes, please ask him, why is he in Japan? So, you know, you're kind of a rarity on my podcast because usually I have people who have like Japanese roots. But for this episode, I really wanted to make something a little bit different for people who want to relocate to a new country, a new city, or Japan, and seeing your process and figuring out, as a Red Bull athlete in parkour, out of all the places you could have chosen in the world, why would you choose Japan? And of course, moving your whole family here is difficult. So that's the setup. But yeah, why did you decide to move to Japan?
Yeah, we'll get to the difficulties in a moment, I'm sure. And I think I'll go back to how I started parkour, because that was kind of life-changing to me. And it also really influenced the decision to come to Japan.
Okay.
Because basically I grew up very German, reasonable. And the one unreasonable decision I made was to start parkour. Because I felt like I was just so fascinated by it and wanted to give it a go. But I had no expectation to be any good at it. And there was no reason for me to spend 5-6 hours a day trying to jump over walls and figure out how to climb up rails and do all that stuff. But long story short, me starting out on this parkour journey led to me competing internationally, winning a lot of those competitions, being sponsored by Red Bull, traveling the world, doing video projects, yada, yada, yada. I brought a lot of good into my life. And then something similar happened with filmmaking, where filmmaking was also something I was very obsessed with early on in my life. I always gravitated to cameras, my dad's camera, and I grabbed that. I loved filming parkour videos. And luckily, social media came along.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all these videos I was making had a place to go. And somehow magically the universe worked in my favor, where now these two things I was obsessed about, parkour and filmmaking, led to a career that was really fulfilling, got me to travel, got me to meet my wife in California, and have a child back in Germany. Skipping over a lot of details here, but
No.
Trying to get to how like that was so life-changing for me, because as a very reasonable German person, I kind of learned that following this weird feeling, this weird attraction to these things that don't really make sense and are not really promising in a career-wise, like filmmaking and parkour, led to so many good things in my life. So I was thinking like, okay, what are other things that always fascinated me? And one of those things was Japan and Japanese culture. Since the very first time I heard about it and saw about it, there was something interesting to me about that.
Was it tied into you being a nerd and video game nerd? Was it like Japanese games? Was it what part of the culture was so alluring to you?
I think a big part of it was, of course, first anime. Dragon Ball was really big in Germany.
Because
so I
you're
was
like
watching that.
my age. You're like
Yeah, I was born
30.
91.
91. I'm born in 1990. So obviously we grew up in the same time. Dragon Ball, YouTube was just starting. I remember the parkour videos that I think we talked about this. Like MC Monkeys had like the Urban Ninja was
Urban
one of the
Ninja,
first
yeah.
parkour videos, and parkour it existed, but like it wasn't super widespread. I remember. How old were you when you started?
So I was born in 91. I was 14 when I started parkour, and I'm 34 now.
Okay, so you've been doing it for 20 years, and how did you? So like you're a video game nerd, you're into anime and stuff, but you're like, do you think that kind of inspired you a little bit? You're like, I want to be a little bit like a
For
character,
sure.
an anime character.
For sure. Like I think it's always interesting to look back at like what are we always obsessed with. And one of the things also when we grew up was Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah.
And a lot of people watch those movies, and for me like the movement was always so fascinating. And same in Dragon Ball, he would flip, he would climb, and then you had like the training, like the training, those 3 episodes where him and Krillin train with Master Roshi, like that still gives me like goosebumps and gets me motivated to like go deliver or go do some random task that is like, then the martial arts movies back then had all these training montages and the movement. That was always fascinating to me.
You know, you hear like somehow like adults, when you become an adult, you're still like just a big kid. It kind of sounds like that even for you, you know, and me too. Like I grew up with like Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. Obviously, Jackie Chan was. We were talked about this how off camera that, you know, Jackie Chan movies. I was so big into it, just watching the choreography and things like that. Like Meals on Wheels, I think was one of my favorite fight scenes of all time, and that's why actually I started doing karate. So I started karate when I was like 17, and it was kind of for similar reasons. I was like, okay, well, I'm half Japanese, so it makes sense I should do like a Japanese sport. And then so I was like, all right, I'm not going to do Taekwondo. I'll do karate. But it was also because like I wanted to, you know, be like the things I saw, like Jackie Chan, Power Rangers, anime character, and things like that. So it's kind of interesting though that you're like, you never forgot that. You're like, I want to do parkour. And it was inspired a little bit by like, I guess what you're seeing in media, but like, what really was like the driving point where it's like, I'm going to do this for a life, like my life career?
Well, it's, I think the question is, it's looking for sort of a turning point where I had this epiphany, but that never really happened. Like I think as a German, watching Jackie Chan movies, there was no German martial art, like maybe wrestling, but it's not very Jackie Chan. There was nothing for me to go to that was like structured and organized. Maybe gymnastics. But then if you're 12 years old, you're kind of too late to start gymnastics, and it doesn't have the same like flair that Kung Fu has.
Yeah.
And there's these doubts you have where you're like, I can't do that. That doesn't fit me. It's too late for me to learn. And it's weird for me. Like I was 14 and I was having all these doubts when I'm like, dude, you're into it. And I had to learn, it doesn't matter if you're into something. It doesn't matter if you don't know your potential. That's really what I learned. Because when I first got into parkour, I thought I would be totally average. Because any sport I did before, I was completely average at. Middle of the pack, if anything. Yeah. And so going to parkour, I didn't expect any different, but it was the first sport I really got into because I fell in love with it. I think parkour is one of those original types of movement that some humans just gravitate to, right? It's like dance. Some people they just love to dance. They have to dance. Some people just need to run because there's something in them that's calling them out to it. But before, if you were a person who was into parkour, before parkour, there was not really that much you could go to. And then parkour showed up and everybody was like, I've been like
so
waiting
cool
for this. Like finally, there's a thing
It's so funny though that like when I first went to my first parkour gym, it's like I was a noob. I am a noob. I don't do parkour. Newsflash. But I just remember thinking like, okay, there's a wall here. Like, what am I supposed to do with this wall? I can jump off of it. Which I guess like parkour is like a lot of like creativity. It's like, okay, what do I want to do? But from what I can tell, I'm obviously not like super versed in parkour and things like that. But yeah, it's just it's so cool to know that you're here. Like, because I've seen the videos that you've done over the years, and you've done parkour everywhere around the world. Obviously, Japan too, and you moved here this year, right?
Yeah, in February.
So, you moved here, your whole family. You're in Germany the entire time, and I know Germany probably has a little bit bigger of a parkour scene than Japan. But you still decided like, hey, I'm gonna like it's now or never, I guess.
There's a lot of moments where I'm asking myself, why the hell did I do this? And the truth is I don't know. Like my life is kind of an experiment at this point where I'm following these weird attractions that I have, this feeling of curiosity. I had it about parkour, I had it about filmmaking. I followed both of those and it worked out perfectly. And Japan is another one on that list, or maybe the last one left on that list where I'm like, I've had this interest in Japan for a very long time. And then I was with my family. I had a daughter who's now 6 years old. And last year I kept thinking about what would it be like to move to Japan? When could we do it? And I was like, maybe when she's older, maybe when she's a teenager, maybe when she's done with university. And I think I was subconsciously doing what a lot of people do is they use their kids as an excuse to delay their own plans and goals. Because they're scary. It's scary to move to a new country as much as there's like an excitement about it, but there's also a lot of doubt. And I kept realizing like, okay, I never talked to my family about how strongly I had this desire to try this move to a new country. And in my head, I'm having this imaginary conversation where like, oh, it would be too hard for my daughter, my wife. She just got here to Germany. She's been learning German for like the last 3 years. And now she has to like quit that and start a new language, and like all the stuff that comes with it. And I'm like, had to be real with myself and be like, dude, no, if you have an awesome wife and daughter and she's still young enough that if you wanted to move, yes, it would be challenging, but it would totally be possible. So I had to be to myself, I had to say like, okay, either you talk to them about it and probably they'll say yes, which is scary because then you have to follow through with following your own dream. Or they'll say, actually, no, we don't want to do it. And then I'll be able to at least let go of it somewhat. And well, turns out we did have that conversation and we looked into it and we felt like, okay, yeah, our daughter can handle it if we do it the right way. And also my wife was super down. She loves Japan.
Now, so your daughter, you said she's how old again?
6 years old now.
She's 6 years old. And I guess what did you mean like handle it? You mean the, obviously schooling. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm sure there's a lot of people that I've talked to in my own life in America who've been like, I want to move to Japan. Like they're like, we have the money. We're actually down on buying a house or something. Like they're in their like 40s. Some of them are in their late 30s. And I think, hearing from you, you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it is a very cool thing. Hearing your perspective, I want to keep hearing your perspective of the good things, the bad things, and how it's been just generally sending your kid to school. And my question is, what was the process like for you moving here and relocating? And how much did it also cost you to move your family here?
It's a lot. Where do I start? I think the first thing for me what was tricky was, can I actually get a visa? I think that's the first question that we really wanted to answer. And we also wanted to answer it quick because my daughter was 5 years old back then. So the sooner we would move to Japan, the more time she would have to learn the language before she starts the famously very strict Japanese school system. Because we wanted her to go to Japanese school and not into international school, which is a whole nother topic we can get into. We don't have to. We decided public school is what we'd like to do. And so we realized, okay, the sooner we can get her here, the more Japanese she speaks before going into elementary school, the easier it will be for her to manage this transition.
So you're going to teach her 3 languages, ideally.
Yeah, so she grew up speaking English to my wife and German to me. So she speaks 2 now.
So are you not concerned? I think a lot of parents have this concern of like, oh, do I send my kid to a regular Japanese school? Are they going to be outcasted because they're not full Japanese? versus international school. How did you come to your decision that, you know what, we want to send her to a public school?
This might be a little controversial, but
We're here for it.
I have the decision the decision why I wanted her to go to public school versus to international school.
Yeah.
Was that I grew up going to public school in Germany, very like blue collar family and very normal German experience. And then traveling the world and meeting a lot of friends in like Thailand and Hong Kong, I got to meet a lot of international school kids.
Yeah.
And I realized that international school has a lot of upsides when it comes to connections. When I started a freelance career, I needed to find a tax guy. Nobody in my environment was any help. Like I could find someone to do like a plumbing and electricity.
Yeah.
Like my environment, we know a guy who's like helping you with your car, whatever. But to get someone who would help you with like freelance and business, like no.
Yeah.
Versus then going with my international school friends, they're like, oh, we know a buddy who works for like this clothing company.
It's
and
so
we know
connected.
this,
Even
and
Japan is the same.
lawyers, like international kids, they'll have that on lock.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to like the personal drive and motivation, I felt like a lot of them lack that growing up in the international school environment. Just because from what I've seen, it's a lot of kids who know if they don't do well in school, they'll somehow find a job with their parents' company or they'll set them up. There's a lot of those kind of situations I've witnessed where a lot of them are in like their 30s, late 20s, partying, don't know what to do, and are kind of floating without a motivation or anything they're really excited about.
It's a little bit of a bubble. I know the international bubble here. It's fun in the Japanese like international school kid bubble, or I say kid, but they're like, you know, obviously older. But yeah, obviously growing up for them, they're always kind of in this international bubble, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes they do, you know, get into the local culture and stuff, but it can be very what is it, like cliquey.
It's
almost.
its own like little microcosmos, and I think the language is another part of that. Because especially in Thailand, I've met friends, they went to international school all their life. They have their international school friends, they can work, they can live but they don't speak Thai. So the language is also a little bit harder to pick up if you're in international school. And I didn't want her to grow up in this country from such a young age. And we're not planning ideally to be here for a little bit and then move to another international school. So ideally we have a happy life here and she'll be happy here, and speaking the language is of course a big part of that.
You know, it might be interesting for you to hear. I mean, I'm sure you've talked to a lot of friends, but I know somebody she's like 25 now, I think. She's Russian. Her parents are both Russian. They moved to Japan because they just both love Japan. Kind of similar, like to your experience. They had no real reason other than they just wanted to move. And they sent her to a normal public school. So she speaks English because they also speak English, Russian. Her best language is Japanese because she went to Japanese school most of her life. And she did pick up more English because she went to like an English-focused high school here in Japan. But now she speaks all three languages. From what I can tell, she's doing great. I had her on my podcast, actually. So that's why I got to like talk to her.
I was born in Niigata. 生まれは新潟で、13歳まで新潟いて. Всем привет, меня зовут Вика, мне 23, и я живу в Японии.
Very talented, 3 languages. It's great. So, you know, your daughter could probably do the same thing is basically what I'm just saying. And so, you know, just knowing that.
That's encouraging to hear, because you hear a lot, like us posting that we're moving here, you hear a lot of comments like, she's going to get bullied. I'm like, your kid is going to get bullied for something.
It's so true.
Like the bullies, like, they don't care. Like, you have blue shoes. Blue shoes.
You're blue shoes kid now.
I guess I have school uniform, most schools. But I'll find something.
Oh yeah, she's going to have a school uniform. You know, the whole point I found out about school uniform as well. Not the whole point, but it helps like everyone look the same. So whether you are rich or poor or middle class, it doesn't matter. There's no way you would know because everyone has a school uniform in Japan.
They'll find out.
You know, as a parent, you're like, it's fine. We'll prepare for that. And yeah, I always grew up saying like, everyone's gonna hate you for something, whether you're short, tall, fat, skinny, Japanese, white, black. It doesn't matter. Like you could great at sports, terrible at sports. There's gonna be haters. And I mean, you do YouTube, you're on your social media, so you get it. So yeah, maybe like a little bit of toughening up is fine. But
I think my daughter was gonna grow up with strange parents already.
just putting it out there.
Even in Germany,
It's too late.
yeah, even in Germany, we would have been strange Germans. Like, even me as a German, I'm not
I
that
feel
German.
like millennials all are kind of like in this weird like. Are we? I guess we're adults, but you still feel like kids in some ways. So yes, strange. But I mean, I don't know much about your wife, but why? What is she strange about?
Well, my wife, she's a photographer. So
Oh, okay.
none of us ever had a normal job.
Yeah.
There's a lot of normal things we don't relate to. There's a lot of things that people care about that we don't care about.
But I'm surprised,
Yeah.
like how despite you, you started parkour at 14, and that became your career. So yeah, you haven't had like I guess a normal job, but you're very like level-headed, easy to talk to. You seem like, I mean, you probably have a lot of friends that are like a little bit more of like normal, conventional work style. I would assume, but I do find that cool. Like even how we met. It was through a college professor who's just a connector. He goes to Temple. Shout out to him, Marvin.
Marvin Uehara.
Yeah,
If you watch this.
shout out to Marvin. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you are you're a very cool. You say strange, but I feel like why be normal anyway? Like being normal is kind of boring. Like so, and I do find a lot of people that move to Japan are a little crazy. Like whether it's for school or like dating life, like girls that I've dated who are non-Japanese, it's always like there's something like off. Not to say that everyone's off, but it's like why would you move to Japan if you were not Japanese?
When we were looking for apartments, which if you're scared of looking for apartments, we looked at 2 apartments getting here and we used agencies to help us find the apartments and we would have gotten both of them.
Yeah.
It was like one of the worries. Moving here was like, you're not gonna get an apartment. No, that was not a problem for us.
Why was not a problem?
I don't know, maybe it was luck, but we applied for 2 and we got 2 yeses. We got no turn down.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe because the agency cleared that we're foreigners beforehand, so that might have helped. But anyway, the foreigner at the agency, I was like, yeah, what is the difference between people, I asked him, what is the difference between people that stay here longer or people that leave? And he's like, yeah, there's either people here who are like 2 years or many of like 10 years. And like, me. Yeah, what is the 10-year one? They're like, they're the weird ones.
It's so true. I even have a friend who was like, yeah, I'll leave in like a couple years. And then he kept pushing it back a year at a time. And he's been here for 10 years. So I'm just like, yeah, you're not leaving, are you?
I'm not sure how long we'll be here. It's kind of, that's the experiment.
Yeah. I mean, Japan is popping off, though. I feel like a lot of people are very attracted to moving here. Buying a house, obviously, is very cheap. People found out compared to like the United States. So, yeah. Did you purchase a house or are you renting?
No, we're renting.
Okay. Do you think you would ever purchase a house in Japan?
There's a lot of cute houses. Well, like, oh, that would be fun. I think it's maybe eventually. I think it's very fun idea for me to just creatively be able to design a space and have a whole space and have a larger space.
Yeah.
But I can totally imagine, like, we moved to Tokyo because it's very international. There's a lot of people visiting. As you said, it's popping off. So a lot of the people we know from across the world, they're like, a calendar is full with people who are visiting. So it's not like we're completely cut off from all our friends and family. And we wanted to be in the city.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the attractive houses I see are a little bit further out.
Okay.
And that's where I'm like, they look really nice. But I'm like,
it's also early. You're still year one. Like you can take your time.
Yeah.
Like, so find somewhere to rent first and then play it out. But I wanted to jump into, your some of the first maybe growing pains of coming to Japan. So for people who are trying to move here and maybe are in their 30s, have a family, like I want to know maybe something else that, is there anything in particular that stands out to you was a culture shock or difficult in relocating here?
It's a lot of paperwork for sure. There's the bureaucracy. I think me being a German, we have that too.
Yeah.
So Germany trained me very well in the martial art of bureaucracy is martial art
Just
we
do
have.
the work.
Yeah.
I as an American, I hated it. So I was like, what is all this paperwork? Why do I have to do this? But as a German, maybe you're more like, it's just like the way it is.
Well, it's like it's hard because when you grow up in a country, it kind of comes one thing at a time. But then you come here and everything comes all at the same time. And I was lucky because my wife had moved to Germany like 6-7 years ago, so I helped her with all that immigration paperwork. So I'm like, this is kind of the same, just in Japanese. Nowadays, I think like I've been practicing Japanese for 8 years. I still suck. Like I'm not great. It's been very on and off. But as I said, I always try to follow this feeling of curiosity I have.
Yeah.
And when I realized Japan is one of those things that I've been obsessed with for a long time, I'm like, I can't move to Japan right now. But 8 years ago, I said, let me start learning. And then obviously in between, I'm traveling and working and had a kid. So it's not been like all day, every day. But I'm at a level where I could like understand a Pokemon episode comfortably.
You're like, that's priorities.
Yes. So
Now,
to give you a gauge.
so you're still, so like, obviously, you know, a lot of people like yourself, they're not like super fluent in Japanese, but they find a way here. And I also, I wanted to ask, like, what is your visa status? Did you sponsor your own visa? Like, what did you have to do to get here?
So I am on an entertainer visa, but which visa I was going to get was not clear from the beginning because my work is
Entertainer. So
entertainer visa.
Is that for athletes?
No. So I can give you the options I was looking at. There's an athlete visa, which usually is more if you come here to train with a dojo or something. So you're going to like a karate dojo for 6 months.
You can get that though.
You can get an athlete visa for that.
I'm sure people listening right now is like, okay, I'm going to train to do some karate so I can get in a dojo.
I don't know if they take white belts. Maybe they do. Like I will start right away.
Well, wait, you can, but would the dojo need to sponsor you?
I don't know, but that was not suitable for me, even
Okay.
though I'm very athletic in what I do, but my work is more video production.
So you went with entertainment visa through your own company or?
Let me explain.
Yes.
Because it was not straightforward.
Okay.
And that's also why
There's some loopholes.
we did get a visa lawyer.
Okay.
And that whole visa lawyer and visa process cost us around $4,000. But it really helped us clear up our options and feel very confident submitting our application.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are very fuzzy with the visa thing, and it's really nice to have the lawyer to give you the immigration office perspective. Because my job is very weird to explain anyway. Because basically what I do is I do things that I think are cool. And then eventually someone would be like, I like that what you did. Let's do kind of something like that together.
Yeah.
And that could be like, sometimes I'll do a live talk. A lot of times I'll do video production. Sometimes I'll go to an event. I get asked to do parkour workshops. I get asked to do social media workshops. I get asked to film videos for other people. So it's very wild. And I never had to really formalize that into a clear cut job description.
Yeah.
Because in Germany, I can do whatever work I want to do freelance. But here they need you to decide which one are you going to do. Are you doing public speaking? Are you doing consulting? Are you doing teaching? Are you doing videos? So the biggest chunk of my income is video production, either for like YouTube or for different brands like Red Bull that I work with on a different video project. And that's why video production was like the strongest thing for a job description. The thing is, there's a business manager visa, which I thought would be the best choice for me. But because you can open your own company and you can work for different clients. That was important to me because I usually don't have one company I work for. I get hired by a lot of different companies and a lot of times on short notice. So it's really hard for me to get a proper work contract, which is what the immigration office wants, right?
Yeah,
like, you gotta
just give us something that we can work with. Yeah.
So I was kind of in a situation where there was a lot of, I felt confident I could survive in Japan off of just my international work. So my original situation was, I'm living in Germany, but most of my work is freelance and for different brands.
Yeah.
And I rarely ever worked in Frankfurt unless I was commissioned to do something. So I was already in a situation where I felt like, okay, I could move to Japan. The living expenses are probably similar to Germany. and I can still do exactly the same jobs I'm doing right now.
I see. Yeah.
So technically, I knew, okay, I don't need to even make any money in Japan to live in Japan, which was actually what I was hoping for, because right now the yen is weak. Me working abroad would be a great situation. And I could just keep doing what I'm doing, and I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But getting the visa, I learned that that's not enough. I actually need to make money from Japanese companies.
I've heard this, yeah.
Yeah. And how much you need to make, for me, it's 4 million yen. But that will depend on where you live, because living in Tokyo and Fukuoka, you'll have different living expenses, as also how many people you're providing for, which for me is my wife and my child.
Yeah.
So they're on a dependent visa. So for me, the number that the visa lawyer told me was you need to prove that you're going to make 4 million yen in Japan doing film and video production behind or in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And for advertising purposes, we're very specific. What I can do and what I cannot do.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a challenge to prove. And first I thought I'd go with the business manager visa. I can open my own company and then I could work for all different brands. What I was told is I can't do that because if I open a production company, I cannot be in front of the camera, only behind the camera.
Really?
Or
Damn. So they kind of have a very specific thing for that.
Apparently. I'm not an expert. That's what I've been told. So that's why she recommended to go with the entertainer visa. And we went through a few different visa lawyers before we found one that we liked, because my situation being kind of complicated. Of course, the visa lawyers want someone who has a very easy visa for them to apply to. Our situation was tricky, so she had to work quite a bit with us. So my wife had 4 or 5 different calls with visa lawyers till we found one where we were like, okay, she's the right one to handle our case.
Yeah. So the big takeaway I'm hearing here, though, is if you're trying to do what you're doing, you have a lot of freelance work, get a visa lawyer. It's about $4,000 and you can kind of figure it out with them and you'll make your way. You can make your way to living here. But that is...
I think that the first thing I recommend, if you're really dreaming about moving to Japan, getting the first consultation with a proper visa lawyer will cost you $100, $200. And that is that first big question was for me, can I even get a visa? Because I don't want to come here and work an English teaching or a salaryman job. In my 20s, great. Without a family, great. But in my 30s, no thank you. I was not interested. Right. So I wanted to, can I keep doing the work I love in Japan? Yeah. And that's where that visa lawyer call gave me a lot of clarity. And then that's already great. Then you can either continue down that path if you want to, because now you know what it will look like, or you can let go and just live your happy life in Germany or wherever you are.
In total, how much did it cost to relocate your family to Japan?
So the cost of us moving to Japan in total, and we didn't do it as cheap as possible. We wanted it to happen quick. We wanted it to be comfortable for a daughter, so she was able to fall in love with Japan. And also, we like a nice piece of furniture and going out for a dinner. So we spent around $30,000 on getting the apartment, getting the flights, getting the visa and the visa lawyer, getting Airbnb for the first month that we were here, all the crazy fees that come with getting an apartment and everything was around 25 to 30K in that. I didn't add it up every receipt, but yeah.
Okay. So if you're doing not the cheapest option, but making it work for a family of 3, you can definitely get it in 30K or under.
Yeah, that's what it cost us to really get everything settled. Bank account, SIM card, we're here, we have everything, and it's comfortable. We were able to put our daughter in some Japanese classes with that money to get her prep. We were able to get some furniture that we like. We were able to really make a home. We didn't want to be in a shoebox with a 6-year-old and her hate Japan and be like, I just want to go home every day. We're like, no. Let's spend some extra money to make her be able to fall in love with Japan, have a comfortable... And also, we wanted to say, if we're trying to move to Japan, let's really try to build the life we would want. So after a year, we'll know, is this what we want? Because if you're moving to Japan to try it out and you're in a shitty apartment 2 hours outside of Tokyo and you're commuting every day and you're just eating, I don't know, cup ramen, Like, I would hate
not the
myself
way- I would
after a
hate
year.
myself.
Like, I wouldn't be any the much wiser if I want to live in Japan or not, if I
Yeah.
really did
You're
it like
a very
that.
reasonable German person, as you said. You're very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Actually, I wanted to pivot here a little bit and talk about, doing what you do here. Obviously, you do parkour. And so the pivot here the question I want to ask is, how easily can you still do parkour in Japan? Because I don't see it that often. I know, with all this stuff happening recently with how streamers are, they're called nuisance streamers, and they're like hanging off of things in Japan, and people are like, don't do that, don't do this. I mean, a lot of times it's questionable. It's like, is it really that bad that you're hanging off of a tree? Like, it's but people will be like, oh, you're a nuisance. So I guess I wanted to know, like, how do you, like, I would assume that parkour is kind of like skateboarding, where sometimes people are just like, we don't like it. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But what is the culture like around parkour and like acceptance for it here? Do you have to like jump through hoops literally to do it here, or what's that like?
I think that the misconception or the first thought people have for someone who does parkour is that they're this like crazy person who's just jumping across rooftops and recklessly breaking stuff and going into private property and basically acting like he owns the town and he can run away from police. Like, that's not what parkour is. Obviously, you can compare it to skateboarding, where of course, if I look at all the rooftops in Japan, which are amazing for parkour, and that's very tempting.
It's like the ninjas did it too. Like, they're the OG.
Parkour is in a way physically, and because in an urban space, it's similar to skateboarding, but the philosophy behind it is a lot more like a martial art. So it's a lot about respect and just being considerate of others. You want to leave, like for me, when I go train at a spot, yes, it's public, but I want to leave the spot the same way it was before. And for my own sake, like for me, that random wall in a park is like such a place of opportunity where I can explore and learn different skills and push myself and grow and have fun. And for most other people, it's just a random wall. They don't look at it twice,
it's
right?
just a wall.
Like they just walk past it and they're like, whatever. And I'm like, and you get yelled at by, around the world, parkour people will be sitting on a wall or balancing on a rail and someone will tell them to grow up. And I think that's silly. You'll find those people all across the world. But of course, in Japan, people have a very strong sense about what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And thanks to that, Japan is the amazing country that it is. And of course, I want to do my part and not disturb the peace people have. As much as I sometimes think it might be silly or not reasonable, but I'm a guest here and I want to behave that way. And the great thing is you can do parkour in many different ways. The beauty of parkour is it is about like seeing the beauty in your environment in everyday obstacles like a rail, a stair set, and doing something creative and interesting with them. And to do that, I don't need to run across your rooftop or into your backyard.
Just give me a couple walls.
Yeah, it could just be like 2 handrails by the side of a river where nobody looks at them twice, and I can go there and I can explore a whole world of movement and skills, and I will leave and you would have never known that I was there.
Yeah. Just the videos that I took. You'll see that. But no, I think, and yeah, obviously being in Japan, like there's a lot of like unwritten rules that you come to realize like, oh, this might be frowned upon and stuff like that. But I feel like also if you're good, if you're good at what you're doing, there's always like a little bit of like, okay, let's see what you can do around the world. But Japan is a little less. I think in the States, it's like, all right, go ahead. Like, let's see if you can actually land this trick. Like a police officer or a security guard might be like that. And if you do it, you're like, good job. All right.
In Germany, it's a more like sometimes you're training in a little bit of a rough neighborhood by German standards. And a lot of times my training, I'm not training my strongest tricks. I'm training the stuff I'm not good at. So you might see me training and it might not look that impressive. So I can tell some like youngsters are like maybe looking for trouble and they're checking me out. And that's when I'll just do like a quick flip off the wall or something. They're like, oh, wow, that's cool. No. Did you hit my bro didn't see that. Do it again. You just did a flip. And then you're like, you can definitely use your skill level to kind of get a pass.
Dude, doing a backflip is always just like oh, that's sick. like almost like just doing a random backflip. I've always noticed if somebody just does it, it like breaks the ice.
It's like the do a kickflip of parkour.
Yeah. So
parkour is different here though from across the world. Like
what's the scene like here?
If you look at like the UK and Europe and the US, like street parkour is very easy to do and people are very accepting and people are very, like if you're doing cool stuff and you're obviously not destroying something on purpose, they're happy to see something cool and people being active and having fun. Mm-hmm. In Japan, that is much rarer, I think, that you have to kind of find your space where it's accepted. And you see a lot of people in Tokyo, they either train at Mission Tokyo, which is the local gym, or they train in the parks, where you still will find obstacles, but it's easier for people to be like, oh, he's working out, or he's doing an activity. This is an okay place to do it. So
have you done a flip somewhere though in public in a park and somebody was like, oh, nice, like ine. Has that happened in Japan?
Yeah, for sure. You get like yesterday we were filming by a river with like a skytree view, and like a little lady with her bike stopped and filmed us with her phone. And looking at the clip she got, she was like, oh, cool.
That's like, oh, these kakoi gaijin. That's cool. I always feel like people are pretty welcome to this. So Tokyo is a very specific breed of people where a lot of even Japanese people are outside of Tokyo be like, oh yeah, they're a little bit like cold and stuck up here. But I do think it's very nice when you see in Japan, they're very warm to seeing something kind of new and not so normal. Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to see more of that, honestly. Like, I sometimes I feel like it does have to be the foreigner who comes in to do the little crazy thing, and then they're like, "Oh, sugoi." Like I always would hear stuff from Japanese people. It's like and your Japanese is probably good enough to know like, "Nihonjin dakara dekinai." Like they'll say like, "I'm Japanese, so I can't do it," or like some people feel like they can't do it because they're Japanese. And I'm like, no, you could do the same thing. So some people have a little bit of issues like standing out in Japan.
I think you will get a lot of scrutiny. And it is true. I've heard a few stories where Japanese people just have a very high standard for other Japanese people. And if you're not Japanese, then you won't have that same standard applied to you, which, that's just the reality that I've observed.
That is the way it is. And for the audience listening to kind of explain that it's, and I'm half Japanese, I'm mixed Japanese. So Japan is kind of like a little bit of an exclusive club. Sometimes is what I feel like, where if you want to be Japanese, you gotta, or not want to be, but there is like a certain guideline of unwritten rules of what a Japanese person does in certain situations and like how to act and how to talk and email, the way to email people or like the way business works. And if you're look Japanese or want to like really like get into the culture and do it, you're held to a different standard and it can be very stressful. Or you could just be like, I'm not Japanese. And they'll be like, oh, okay, you're not Japanese. Got it.
So one example we got is we were hearing from a friend and we're talking about school a lot with other parents. Mm-hmm. We're talking to a foreigner. The man is, the husband is a foreigner. The wife is Japanese, but she didn't grow up here. She didn't live here for a very long time. And their kid is going to school. And being a parent, a mom to a Japanese kid in school, it's very much expected that you're very involved and helping with the homework and helping with the bento. Like it starts very early, and that is a standard that you're held to as a Japanese mom. Yeah. That my wife won't get that as a foreigner. She will get a pass, even if this woman never lived in Japan, but by being a Japanese person, she will be held to that same standard.
Yeah.
And I think it is, you hear a lot of people either say, you're never going to be fully accepted here, or people complain about, I've been here for so long and I've done all these things, how come I'm not seen as Japanese? And I'm like, you're not Japanese. You're not paying the same price because you're not being held by the same standard. Everything you do as a Japanese looking person by first judgment, you're going to be held to a higher standard. They don't know if you grew up here all your life or not. And anything I do will be held to a lower standard. So I'm paying a lower price of admission. So I'm not fully part of the club, no matter how long I'm here. And I have no expectation to become that. It's not realistic. And for me, that's okay. And I'm accepting that moving here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, not now, but I think maybe before social media made this all apparent, like a lot of people are like, I'm really going to get into culture, and they try. And it is, you can learn, what do I want to say? Like, at least like in multicultural countries, if you're not exactly the majority, people are not a little less likely to be like, oh, you're different, you're foreigner, you don't belong here. Japan is kind of like, if you just look not Japanese at all, you get othered. Like, they don't see you as Japanese, which is fine. Like, it's not like a thing of rudeness. It's just more of how they categorize, like, okay, Japanese, oh, not Japanese. And the standards are different, like you said. And for your friend who is full Japanese, and even though she didn't grow up here, yeah, she's going to be held to that standard just because of the way she looks. It's just the way it is.
Well, it's an island country with very little immigrants. So you can tell the difference between, on first sight, you can be like, oh, that person is probably a Japanese person, that person is probably not. I can do that, and I haven't grown up here. If I go back to Germany, even though I've lived there all my life, I cannot. If I had to pick a random person on the street and I had to guess whether they grew up in Germany, my success rate probably wouldn't be that high, because we've had a lot of immigration over a long time, and therefore usually your first assumption when you meet a person is like they probably grew up here or they've been living here for a long time.
What do you think about this for the future for your daughter if she grows up here? Do you have like a thought on do you want her to be seen as Japanese or not? Like, how, and this is maybe a deeper question, because I would assume, like, maybe not a deeper question, because I know like some people, they just bring their kids to, or they have their kids at a different country. They don't really think about it that much. But to me, and of course on my podcast, I interview a lot of people who are like born and raised in Japan, and they're full black or full white. And so they have like an identity, not struggle, but they're seen as different. They're older. They're in like 20s or maybe even 30s now. So growing up back then was different, where obviously they're always seen as gaijin. Even though they're going to school in Japan, they have Japanese friends, they speak the language, and they're always just like, oh, I'm a foreigner? And there's always like this little moment that they go through, and when they realize like, oh, I don't look like everyone. My parents are not from here. And I know this is a long-winded question, but do you have any like concerns about that? Or like, do you want her to be seen as Japanese? Do you really care?
I'm not sure how much judgment my daughter will get for that. I think there's definitely an element of, how do I start this better?
Well, it's hard to say. Well, because I might bring some more, because from the flip side, I have a lot of friends who are born in Japan, but maybe they moved to America when they're like 5 or 6, like kind of like your daughter. Yeah. And so they are often seen as American because they grew up in America, and it's like, yeah, their parents are Japanese, but they, and yes, they speak Japanese, and they were born in Japan, but most of their life they grew up in the US, going to an English speaking school. So I don't know what the parents' perspective, their parents are probably like, oh yeah, my kid is my children and I'm Japanese, but yeah, they grew up in America, so they're kind of American. Like, so I don't know. I've never really thought about it from the parents' perspective.
Well, coming here, my daughter has grown up in Germany for 6 years, but also she's already half German, half American. So she already knows both of those countries. And I think she spent enough time in Germany to forever remember her time in Germany and have her roots there. So in my head, I imagine that she will have a sense for her roots, because we also still plan to visit America or Germany at least once a year, as much as we can. So I think that sense of like, okay, I have this other world where I do belong and fit in, and I'm not seen right away as an outsider, will at least give her a feeling of like, okay, if this is not my place, there's somewhere I can go where I feel like, okay, I naturally fit in. Because yes, of course, this is going to become some sort of issue that we have to navigate, which we are both foreign to. Like, I don't know what that is like. I don't have any personal experience. I really enjoy talking to people who grew up here as half Japanese or who moved here, because I'm like, yeah, what were the struggles? It's going to be so hard for me to relate to my daughter. And I'm very aware of that. I'm trying my best to prepare myself for it. And one way of phrasing I liked was, because here they all say you're half, you're half, you're half. And one person was like, no, I'm both. Like, I'm not half this, I'm half that. I'm both Japanese and I'm both English, but she's not Japanese even half. She's German and American. But I think it's like she will have to learn to embrace her individuality is what makes her special. And I understand that Japanese society is an especially challenging country to embrace your individuality because everybody's as much as possible try to make uniform. But that's where I just see my role as a parent to balance out the rigidity of the society here by being by reminding her that what her strengths are.
Yeah.
Because she's going to go to school and she's going to be like, damn, I don't understand anything. They're all speaking Japanese. There's a lot of cultural references I don't get. And I have to be like, no, look, these are the things you're good at. Yeah. These are the things you have the experiences that they can't draw on. And I think the initial years will be a lot more challenging, and then obviously later on
I think it'll be
easier.
Pretty funny though, because like obviously my dad is a parkour athlete, my mom is a photographer from America, and the kids at school are going to be like, oh, what?
I mean, we get it if we talk to someone and explain what we do, like most Germans are like.
You know what? Actually, kids don't care what their parents do. Like, now that I think about it, they just care if they're going to have fun or not. So
I still have the bonus of like, for kids, a parkour dad is pretty cool. So usually I'm like the cool dad to other kids.
Oh, that's like the bring your parent to work day where they talk about your job. You're the cool one. You go to the kids' school. You know how
easy for me.
This is going to be so funny when she's older, or not even older. You just like bring parent to work day and you'll be like, hey guys, you want to watch me flip off this thing? And you're like, what? And the other dads are like, oh shit. This kind of reminds me though of like, because you're also like, you're a foreign guy, but like my dad is the American one. I remember going to Japanese school in the States, just every now and then, like Saturday school. I didn't go that often, but there were a couple other half Japanese families, but I just remember my dad was like a runner, like he cross country, like he had like a sub 5-minute mile, I think, pretty close. Anyway, he's really fast.
Yeah.
So they have like festival day in Japanese school where you do like sports festivals, and sometimes the parents will do it with the children.
Oh yeah, I had to do the three-legged race.
Oh yeah. So you did the same thing.
Yeah.
So like my dad did the three-legged race, but there's also like a sprint where you have to go around the track, and like half it's gonna be the children, and then the other half is the dads. So they like dads are on this side and they meet in the middle and do a three-legged race down the center. And I just remember I'm with all the Japanese kids on one side. We're running like as fast as we can, kind of like the same speed. And my dad is on the other side blasting past all the Japanese dads. Like, and he makes it to the front way beyond like everyone else. And I just feel like, yeah, but like I'm a kid, so I still have to just catch up. But I just remember like that memory of thinking about, you know, in a whole entire like Japanese school system, there's like this one foreign guy who's just like blasting past. And I'm just thinking like you're gonna be like that foreign dad who's like, yeah, watch me flip off this thing. And in a Japanese school, it's just so rare. Even in America, it's rare, but it's gonna be like extra rare in Japan.
And I do see like people appreciate it, which is nice. Like there's I don't want to feel like I'm like a curiosity at a circus as a foreigner here, but I think parkour athletes already are like in that category where people are like, do a backflip. Can you jump over that? Can you climb up that? If the police comes right now, could you run away? So we get all these questions.
And you're like, yes, I could do all those things.
So there is a nice coolness factor, I think, especially as a young kid.
Yeah.
She will get, and already all the parents, whenever she does something athletic, they're like, of course she can do it. She's your daughter. I don't know. So she gets less credit for it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's like, oh.
come on, she still has to learn it. Like,
Yeah. Damn. Well, this is gonna be so cool. Like seeing, you bring this to Japanese like local people and just like doing it in Japan. I feel like, within the last few years, obviously Japan, like we were saying, has become so popular and people are coming. And I mean, there is a little bit of pushback, I think, with too much immigration this year. I don't know if you're familiar, but the new prime minister is a little bit more like careful about immigration and how many people they're let in and stuff like that. That's a whole another topic. I don't really want to go into politics, but I would hope that, as the years go on, this internet, like having a German American family living in Japan is kind of like, oh, okay, cool. And your daughter will be, in my eyes, she'll probably, a lot of people, if she does grow up her whole life here, they'll be like, oh, she's Japanese. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of Japanese people will probably recognize, like she went to Japanese school. So the education was the same. She's Japanese. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That'll be something interesting. I guess you'll find out in the next 10, 15 years.
I'm curious if we'll make it that far. I think it really hinges on how comfortable my daughter will feel in the school system. I think that is the biggest fear right now. Okay, is that gonna really not be a fit for her? But I'm really hopeful. And the first 6 months have been great and feels really positive. And we've arrived really well.
Is she mingling well with the children in school?
Yeah, but right now she's at a Japanese kindergarten with an English focus. So all the kids are Japanese, but the teachers can speak English and there's English. So that we felt like was a good solution for the beginning. So she can get some Japanese, but if there's a problem, she has a way to communicate what's actually going on with the teachers. And it's really hard to tell in the beginning how well she's picking up on Japanese, but I really think, okay, it's getting there. Right now she's saying, Dada, for some reason, like, I noticed that when they speak Japanese, it comes out as English for me. So to me, that's like, okay,
Right.
she's understanding what they're saying, even though she does not get the literal
but
meaning.
She's speaking back in English.
I don't know. They don't tell you that much. And she does it talking to a 6-year-old kid. You're like, how was kindergarten today? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. so
But she's getting it. She's getting it.
Yeah, she's getting there. And we're trusting the process, but we're very much like, this is an experiment. Like we're here. This is like a weird hunch of mine that this could be a great place for us. And we're here to see what comes with that. Mm-hmm. And so far, so good. And I could see us staying here for longer, but like life's an adventure, and that's what we're here. And maybe we'll learn something during this time that will then change everything. Yeah. But I'm, as you said, really curious what kind of perspective she will have on the world, having that mixed background, where she's like, I speak German. I also still remember what Germany is like. I have these parents who like completely not really following any formal path as a career. And then
she's not gonna realize that until she's like 20 or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my parents were weird.
Like, wait a minute, everybody else. Yeah, so I think we're suited to kind of balance out maybe this harshness and strictness and rigidity of the Japanese system, and I'm hopeful that will be really special and exciting and interesting.
Yeah. It's super cool. I don't really know many other people who are not Japanese my age that have moved to Japan with their family. Other than, I don't know him, but PewDiePie. He's like the closest thing I know. PewDiePie did the same thing.
Slightly different set of possibilities.
Yeah, a little bit different with it. So what was your favorite parkour shoot you've done in Japan?
It's maybe not the craziest action I've ever done, but one of my favorite shoots was definitely here in Japan, where we got to shoot at Edo Wonderland, which is this historical recreation of a Japanese village from the Edo period. And they shoot a lot of movie dramas there, and they have people in costumes. You can go there as a tourist and check it out. It's really fun.
It's a samurai and ninja, like not cosplay, but samurai ninja village.
Yeah, and it's like they have ninja show going on and all this stuff. And we did a scene there where I was traveling back in time and they were chasing me through this village. So I was literally jumping through like old school Japanese walls, smashing them to pieces while the samurai were chasing after me and yelling at me in Japanese. So it was a really crazy feeling to do parkour while you have like 10 samurai chasing you. Like it felt real.
And that was a Red Bull thing, right?
Yeah, that was a Red Bull shoot.
Can you talk about the parkour scene in Japan? Like what's it like?
The parkour scene in Japan is really strong and really small.
Sounds very much like Japan. Like very small niche, but very good.
Very dedicated. And they're great at the things you would expect them to. They're very stylish. They also have very hard tricks. And also they love training in like gyms and parks, because that is like the few places here where you can it's really accepted to do parkour. You have to be quite careful here where you do it, where a staircase or a bridge in Europe where it would be no worry and nobody would bat an eye if you're jumping around and you would just get cheered on. Here, you would definitely get scrutinized. And I can feel that, and you can definitely even more so feel that if you're Japanese.
You just feel in the air. I understand.
Yeah.
You're just like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. But the foreign side of me is like, you can get away with it. The Japanese side is like, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm trying not to play the gaijin card all the time because I don't want to make people uncomfortable. I am also still learning what exactly makes people uncomfortable. I think I'm happy to respect the rules, but I do want to know the rules. And there's a lot of unwritten rules in Japan, which I'm slowly learning, and I'll definitely overstep them here and there, even though I'm being quite careful. But
I always say you can bend the rules a little bit. You can just bend them
carefully.
And
it's like bamboo.
Respectfully, like bamboo. But Chinese bamboo is very strong. Rush hour reference right there.
Of course, I'm German. I understand what it means. There's a rule in place and we like to follow it, even if it doesn't make sense. But in every country, there are exceptions. The one you'll notice the most in Tokyo is how people use bike paths. It seems to be the absolute Wild West, people riding the bikes here, where you're not meant to be on the sidewalk. People are constantly on the sidewalk. So even the Japanese make exceptions in their own rules, and they have very specific ways they seem to make those exceptions.
Cycling is one of the big exceptions. It doesn't actually make sense of all the safety things that they have in Japan. Why are bikes allowed to be on the sidewalk, no helmet, and they can go on the road? It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid vehicle.
Yes,
you can go on the road.
I'm a pedestrian now.
Yeah, I'm a pedestrian now. It's so, and I have a lot of friends who are like, I hate the bikes in Japan, like because they're on the sidewalk and you have to get out of the way as a pedestrian.
But then you're riding through Tokyo and there's a bike path, but there's always some van parked in it. Like it's sometimes you're like, the sidewalk is safest for everybody right now.
So I understand. And also like if you have a kid in your seat, like I get it. Like I understand why they're like, we must keep it the way it is. It's working. It's fine. We'll keep it. But I think that is one of the funnier like rule bendy things in Japan.
Yeah, and there's a lot of unwritten rules. Like the other day we were hanging out with a Japanese mom who's a friend of ours, and she just learned in her 30s that you're meant to bring socks if you're visiting somebody's house. So if you're wearing flip-flops, you're meant to carry socks in your pocket so you're not barefoot in their house. And she learned this as a Japanese person in her 30s. I was like, nobody told me about this rule. People don't tell you about the rule. You need someone who's close enough to you to kind of confide.
I feel like it doesn't happen that often because usually you have socks anyways in Japan. Unless, of course, you're somebody who wears geta, like the Japanese style thing. So actually, I did not. That was a rule. Unwritten rule. Well, you don't want to bring your dirty feet into the house. But then now it's the host's responsibility to give you slippers, probably, which is another priority.
We have to poll.
We're gonna have to. Where's our residential Japanese person? Yes. We need to ask. We'll have to poll. It's
almost like Easter eggs when you find a new rule.
That's so good. Finding new rules in Japan. That's a good one. So, Jason, you're still killing it in parkour. You're 34 years old, almost 35. I think next year we're going to be 35. But you're freaking jacked. We did jujitsu together. Like, you're ripped, and I have a lot of older guys like in their 30s or probably even 40s. I know that listen to me. Like, do you have any advice to people who are in their mid 30s, or maybe they have kids and they stopped working out, and like, how do you keep working out and keep having the energy to do what you do? I know you're an athlete, and so I'm sure a lot of athletes figure out a way to make it work, but yeah, what's your advice to people who are trying to like stay fit in their 30s and 40s who are falling off the horse?
It's not easy, mainly because you just have less time. And for me, the key to keep wanting to go is to have something that I do enjoy. And that means I'm not very strict with what I do. Like, maybe I'm a parkour athlete, but maybe for like a month, I'm just go to like breakdancing studios and I train with those guys because I'm more excited about that right now. And I think it's normal to go through different things that you're excited. And I think when you're picking something that you're excited about, don't think about, am I going to be any good at it? Am I going to look silly? Like, that's how I felt starting parkour. That's how I feel doing breakdancing now. I'm like, I don't feel cool doing this, but I'm into it and I'm going to keep doing it because it's fun. And then if it's fun, you'll want to be good. You want to go more often. You'll want to train more. And sometimes I don't feel like it, but I know if I get myself into that building, then I'm going to enjoy myself and I'll want to do more.
You know what? That's very cool, because I think someone like me, I feel like I have to like stick with one thing, or weightlifting I usually try to do anyway, but I've never really thought about like try breakdancing just because I feel like it's fun. I have taken like a dance class like once or twice in my life, but and breakdancing a little bit in college, but I guess I always think like, oh, I'm not going to be great at it, so why do it? It's like sometimes that thought does come into my mind, but for you, like even coming to Japan, it's kind of the same way. It's like, it's an adventure. Just try it. So
you have to embrace being uncomfortable in the beginning. Like, it's always gonna, and you have to learn to have fun sucking at something. Like, it's part of the process. And as an athlete, a lot of it is also for me just managing peaks. I think that's the hardest for me.
They say managing peaks?
Like peaks. Like, when I'm 18, I can go hard doing parkour or doing my hardest tricks 4 or 5 days a week. I don't care. I'll bounce right back. I'll roll my ankle. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But then you turn like 30s and you're like, okay, A, my body's getting older. B, I just don't have as much time to train. I have a family. I'm not out 6 hours a day doing my sport. So I can still do most of the things I did in my 20s. But instead of being able to do them 5 days a week, I can do them 1 day a week. And then I need to have like a recovery phase where I take it easy. And that's why I'm falling back in love with the basics. And I think that's really important, because still now, after doing 20 years of parkour, I go back and I do the basics. And if you're starting a sport just to get good at it, and you're like, finally, when I'm good, I'll be able to enjoy it. I'm like, that moment where you're going to be really, really, really good is still going to be short. So if you don't learn to enjoy it at the beginning, you're just going to hate everything till you get really good, and you have this short moment where you enjoy it, and then you'll have the chance of you even getting to that moment are low, because you have to fall in love with it to even put the time in for the grind. So you're lowering your chances of even getting good by putting that pressure on yourself in the beginning. And then you won't be able to hold that level forever, and you have to go back to doing the basics if you want to have a healthy, active lifestyle. And then you have to be able to go back to that feeling like, oh man, I remember how exciting it was for me to just like jump over a wall when I first did it. And I try to go back to that feeling even when I do it now, because most sessions I'm not doing my craziest jump ever.
That kind of makes sense. You're kind of saying finding the joy in doing it, like making it fun. Basically, you're making this fun for yourself. So sometimes you're like, I'm going to do breakdancing for this month, and that's fun for you. And then you pivot. It sounds like you change it up. Like if you're getting bored, it's fine. You change it up. So I think that's helpful, because sometimes I feel like I need to do the same thing over and over. I need to stick with this one thing, like whether it's like karate, for example, which I haven't done in a while, but I feel like sometimes I'm betraying karate if I don't do it. You know?
Oh, I get that feeling, and you have it in parkour too, where a lot of people they apologize for stopping parkour because they've been like. The reality is, you do something for 10 years, probably you want to do something else. That's a long time to do a thing. It's probably rare that you want to stick with it.
So it's change it up, make it exciting for yourself. Is kind of what.
Yeah, and you're allowed to have different phases. Like you're allowed, like it happens all the time that I'll forget how to do a trick.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, oh, I gotta learn that. But it's okay. Like you're gonna have a phase where you get really good, and then you get really into it, and then something else will be more important. And for my life, that has worked out. Maybe if you want to become, I don't know, the greatest there ever was at this one specific tiny skill, then maybe you do need to focus every day, and you got to turn yourself into a robot. But to me, that doesn't sound like the life I wanted to live.
Anyway, this has been a great talk, Jason. We need to end the podcast here. But is there anywhere that you would want people to go follow you? I know you have an Instagram.
I think the easiest way is on YouTube. That's my favorite platform. But you find me as the Jason Paul on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, even on TikTok. And also my website. And if for whatever reason this podcast didn't make you want to move to Japan, but made you want to start parkour, I also have parkour courses where you can teach yourself. You don't need a gym. You don't need to be athletic to start, because that's how I started as a nerd. And I wanted like a resource with all the things that I wish I would have known starting out. And that's what I'm putting out on my YouTube now. And that's what I'm continuing to do while I'm here in Japan.
If you like this podcast, make sure to support. If you want to support on Patreon, I also have a Patreon as well. So check me out there. And all my links to my socials are in the description. Jason, thank you for being on the Live in Tokyo podcast. It was great having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Yeah, arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Unwritten rule, you gotta say it. Arigatou gozaimasu.
I learned you're supposed to say kochira koso.
Kochira koso. Arigatou gozaimasu. Oh, see, you're picking up Japanese quick. All right, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.